Hello, BookTube. I'm Peg, the Book Prize addict. And I said yesterday when I was making my video that I have so many Book Prize book pieces of information and news stocked up that I really need to talk about those because we've got some other big ones coming up. So I've decided to try to make several this week short, I hope, ones about some out of the way sort of book prizes that it just helps me to remember to talk about them, and hopefully it'll be of some interest to you all. The one I'm talking about today is a Canadian award called Canada Reads. Now, I had only up until last year, it was only at the end of the year that I got into some Canada awards. I did the Giller Prize and the Governor General's Prize, which were both really big awards. And I enjoyed them so much, all the books on them, that I thought, I really want to get into Canadian literature more, and I don't want to wait till the end of the year when those prizes come out to find out about it. So I did find this one, and it really looks like a fun kind of prize. It's done a little bit differently. As I said, it's called Canada Reads, and it's sponsored by CBC, which looks to me like is a media conglomerate of some sort, including radio stations, TV stations, and so it helps that it gets a lot of publicity that way. What I guess it is I've given a link so you can find out more then, and maybe some of my Canadian viewers will tell us a little bit more about it. But it looks like they started with a long list of different books, and now they've narrowed it down to a short list, and they have lots of people reading it. And maybe it's kind of like we try to have whole towns read a book here in the States. I don't know, maybe they're trying to get it to be a Canadian-wide thing. But anyway, and in March, they're going to have a debate. Several people have taken one of the shortlist books, and there's going to be a debate about it that evidently lasts from March 26th to 29th. That's going to be televised, and it looks to me like from the link I gave below that it will be on the net also, so maybe we can watch it. I think that would be really fun to do, and these look like some good books. So anyway, first of all, the theme they were looking for this year for the books on the Canada Reads program were one book to open your eyes, celebrating titles that challenge readers to look differently at themselves, their neighbors, and the world around them. And it seems to include fiction, nonfiction, memoirs, anyway. So I'm just going to talk about the five finalists that are left, and they all look kind of good to me. It would be fun to read them and watch the debates on TV. Okay, anyway, first we have, this is not acting right at all today. I'm very upset with it. Now it's lost my, oh, stop it. Okay. First we start with The Boat People, which is a debut novel, and it deals with some immigrants that come to Vancouver on a rusty old cargo ship from Sri Lanka. 500 people, and the conditions are terrible, and they think they're going towards freedom, but when they get to Vancouver, they're put in a detention center because the local people think there's a terrorist aboard and don't want to let them all out. So it's evidently from three different points of view. One is the man and his son who are being held, who came over as immigrants, and one is the lawyer that they have. There's, I guess, going to be some sort of trial to determine if these people can become Canadians or be sent back or whatever. And then also I think one of the viewpoints is from the judge on this. So this looks quite interesting. There's also a different cover that I really like better. It's kind of a watercolor picture. I really like that one better. Okay, next we have American War. This was published also here in the States in 2017, and it's also a debut novel, and it's a dystopian novel that deals with a second American Civil War that supposedly takes place in 2074, and deals with a particular family that gets mixed up and is torn apart from both sides. So that also looks kind of interesting. It also has a different cover, which is even harder to see on this. Okay, next we have Precious Cargo, and it's subtitled A Gift. No, this one isn't. I'm confusing it with the next one. But anyway, this deals this is a creative nonfiction, it's called, and the author even won a prize for creative nonfiction. And if you can see, that's actually a school bus embedded on his head there. But it deals with a year when he didn't really have a job and I guess wasn't writing, where he spent driving a school bus for some handicapped children with special needs, and the relationships he formed with these, and actually the whole thing kind of talks about the way that special needs people are treated. Anyway, it sounds like he learned a lot and made friends with a lot of these people. Okay, next we have Forgiveness by Mark Sakamoto, and it's also a memoir. It takes place during his grandparents. This is the one that's subtitled A Gift from My Grandparents, and it takes place, it's a story of his grandparents during World War II. His grandfather fought in World War II against the Japanese, was captured and put in a Japanese prison camp and treated very badly. Meanwhile, his grandmother-to-be, though they hadn't met yet, was a Canadian-Japanese lady, and she was taken away from her home, as many families were during that time, and put in some sort of work camp. And so later, after the war, they do meet, and a lot of forgiveness must have been involved, because they fall in love and get married, and they become the grandparents of the author that wrote this. Okay, and lastly we have The Marrow Thieves. Now this won the Governor General's Prize for young people's literature. That was in the fall, and I did read the novels on the Governor's General Prize, but I didn't read this one. It also is a dystopian novel, which in this, humanity has been nearly destroyed by global warming, and there are what they call marrow hunters that are hunting in indigenous people and harvesting their marrow, because there's something in it that gives back the ability to dream. And Kirkus Reviews says this connects the reader with the complexity and compassion of indigenous people. That really does look good too. So I think it would be fun to read these and watch the debate on them that's going to be next month. Actually, if you look on the link I have, you can watch the debate from last year, and it tells quite a bit about the different authors and the people that are going to be defending each book. So it looks really interesting. Okay, I'll be back with some more prizes soon. Bye.